The January transfer window is almost on top of us, and so we are doing a deep dive into the source material around Manchester United. They're sitting 6th in the Premier League, just a couple points outside the Champions League places, and the project under Ruben Amorim seems to be stabilizing after that massive summer spend.
Well, stabilizing is one word for it, isn't it? I mean, it's all relative.
Right.
The club spent over 200 million, and now we're hitting that period where the foundations really need some serious reinforcement.
So our mission today is to cut through all that noise.
Exactly. We'll give you the shortcut to understanding what's next. The squad plans, the tactical shifts, and all the complicated player situations both coming in and going out.
We've certainly got a lot to cover. We have targets like Conor Gallagher and Antoine Semenyo on the list, but I think we have to start with the source of the most unexpected instability. The club captain, Bruno Fernandes.
Yeah, the sources on this are pretty clear. There was a recent interview that just sent shockwaves through everything.
It's the timing of it that's so fascinating.
It really is. I mean, for your captain to publicly admit he could see himself leaving, name-checking Spain, Italy, or Portugal.
Mid-season.
It just raises these huge questions about his commitment, or maybe about the club's commitment to him.
It felt like he was throwing down a gauntlet. But we do need some perspective here, and transfer expert Fabrizio Romano has offered some essential clarification. What's the immediate timeline looking like?
So Romano's reporting, and he's usually spot on, says the situation is completely calm for January.
Okay.
There are 0 negotiations, no imminent exits expected next month. But that sigh of relief is very temporary. He was quick to emphasize the summer window will be very different.
So it's not a fire to put out now, it's more of a long-term countdown.
It's a countdown to a potential leadership vacuum, yeah. And that countdown is being heavily influenced by outside money.
Specifically Saudi Arabia.
The interest from the Saudi clubs is just relentless. Our source stack confirms they remain extremely interested. And they're expected to come back with fresh, massive approaches once this World Cup cycle ends. He's been a top target for them for a long time.
And that's the financial leverage. What about the contractual side?
Well, that's the other piece. Fernandes has a reported 57 million pound release clause. But, and this is key, it can only be triggered by clubs outside of England.
Interesting. Any names being mentioned?
We know Bayern Munich is monitoring this very, very closely. They're believed to be huge admirers of his style and his output.
So he has options, both in terms of money and, top-level competition. But the club's sources are pushing back.
Oh, they're pushing back hard. They insist United have no desire to sell, that he's absolutely central to what Amorim is trying to build.
But the player himself, he kind of put a condition on it, didn't he?
He did. He put the critical condition right on the table. He will only stay as long as he feels truly wanted. In a way, he's daring the new hierarchy to prove their loyalty through ambition.
So from a crisis of leadership, let's look at the crisis of control in the midfield. This seems to be the top priority for the new leadership team, Omar Barada and Jason Wilcox.
Yeah, internally, the belief is that the team just lacks energy and control in the middle of the park.
A problem that's only getting worse with Casemiro now being 33.
Exactly. He's showing signs of wear, and they desperately need a refresh in that engine room.
And that search for energy leads them straight to Conor Gallagher. Reports are saying United have already put in an initial £30 million offer.
Yeah, that 30 million feels like an opening bid because Atletico paid, what, 42 million for him not that long ago?
Right.
The crucial detail here, though, is that United might see him as a try before you buy option. A loan in January could be possible, since he hasn't really nailed down a starting spot under Simeone.
He just seems like a perfect fit for Amorim's system. He's all about the press, that relentless energy.
He is. He's got the work rate, plus he knows the Premier League inside and out. It limits that whole bidding in period. He's a plug-and-play solution.
But is he a true improvement or just an expensive stopgap? That's the question.
That's the risk, isn't it? It's a low-risk move in the short term, but maybe not the high-reward one they really need.
Which is why the sources also talk about the dream target, the one that signals real long-term ambition. Adam Wharton.
The Crystal Palace midfielder. Now, this is the big gamble.
Yeah.
United are reportedly contemplating a staggering 87 million bid.
87 million in January. That's aggressive, especially with financial fair play.
It's immense. The difficulty of pulling that off in the winter is huge, both for United's finances and for Palace, who will not want to lose him mid-season.
But it shows where their head is at. A dominant long-term anchor is the #1 priority.
It absolutely is. And you can see that in their scouting reports. They've got a deep list of alternatives. Elliot Anderson is near the top. Carlos Baleba has been heavily scouted. Even names like Mamadou Sangar and Noah Siddiqui.
They're preparing for chaos, basically.
And chaos is exactly what we find when we look at the competition for the next big target.
Okay, let's shift to the wide areas, because this is where the multi-club battle is really heating up. The race for Antoine Semenyo.
Yeah, this isn't just United. We're talking Man City, Liverpool, Tottenham, Arsenal. They're all monitoring the Bournemouth attacker.
And it all centers around this release clause, right?
It does. A crucial £65 million release clause that becomes active right at the start of January. Sources confirm both Manchester clubs have already made calls to understand the exact conditions to trigger it.
What makes United's plan for him so interesting, though, is the tactical side of it. They don't just see him as another forward.
No, not at all. If they sign him, the plan is to use the Ghana international as an attacking wingback in Amorim's system.
That shows incredible confidence in getting him early and just plugging him into this really specialized role.
It's an aggressive strategy for sure.
Yeah.
Turning a forward into this attacking defensive hybrid. But, and there's always a but, this is where player sentiment comes in.
Uh-oh.
The latest report suggests Semenyo is hesitant about Spurs and would actually prefer a move to Arsenal.
The club he supported as a kid.
The club he supported as a kid. It's amazing how often that becomes a factor, isn't it? It just complicates everything for United's pursuit now that a clear favorite has emerged.
Absolutely. So, shifting from who they might buy to how they're already playing, let's talk tactics.
Yeah, this is critical because it informs who Amorim needs. He spent 10 days at Carrington experimenting, moving beyond that familiar 3-4-2-1.
We saw it against Bournemouth, right? The system had this built-in flexibility, with Ahmad playing way ahead of Dalot.
And now, looking at the upcoming Aston Villa match, there's a growing belief United could line up in a completely different 4-3-3 formation.
And what's forcing that kind of dramatic shift?
In a word, limitations. It's the combination of injuries and AFCON, the African Cup of Nations, which is about to pull key players out of the squad.
So in a 4-3-3, what would that look like?
We'd likely see Dalot back at right back, Luke Shaw on the left, and Manuel Ugarte would probably come in for the suspended Casemiro.
What's the main benefit of doing that?
The benefit is you get your best players on the pitch. It allows Amorim to play both Kabi Menu and Bruno Fernandes together in the middle, with Sesko leading the line.
And the risk?
The risk is defensive vulnerability. United's strength under Amorim have been that 3 center-back system. A flat-back 4 exposes them, especially with the current injury issues.
And those are serious. We have Matthias de Ligt with back pain, Harry Maguire still in recovery,
And Benjamin Sesko missed training with illness. So their involvement is looking pretty unlikely.
which is then just compounded by the AFCON departures. Ahmad, Brian Mbeumo, Nusser Mazraoui are all set to leave.
The club is stretched so thin, they're trying to negotiate to keep them for a few extra days, but the reality is setting in.
All this pressure on the existing squad leads us to the drama around who might be leaving. Specifically, the teenage sensation, Kabi Menu.
This is such a tricky situation. He started the Euro 2024 final, and now he's just fallen completely out of favor.
And part of that is because Amorim blocked a loan for him last summer.
It's the classic club management dilemma. He's barely played, and now you have Napoli publicly confirming their interest, but they're just one of about 10 clubs watching him.
And the external pressure is ramping up. We saw that really public warning from Rio Ferdinand.
Yeah, he basically used his platform to tell Manu to leave immediately if he's not being trusted. He argued that the kid needs to protect his own career and get minutes, or he'll lose that critical development time.
It's the fundamental question. Do you prioritize immediate squad depth or protect the long-term career of a top talent?
And they're facing the consequences of that decision right now.
In stark contrast, you've got the situation with the striker Joshua Zirkzee.
Right. Roma pushed really hard for a loan-to-buy deal. United flatly rejected it. But the player himself, he's determined to stay and fight for his place.
He seems to be playing the long game.
I think he's just being pragmatic. He can see that with AFCON and injuries, there are going to be more minutes available for him. He's betting on the chaos to create an opportunity.
Just one final quick note on outgoings. Marcus Rashford.
Ah, yes, on loan at Barcelona. Spanish reports are saying that if Barca wants a permanent deal under Hansi Flick, Rashford has to accept a pay cut and seriously increase his defensive work rate.
Conditions are being set, even from afar.
It's a sign of the times. Every club wants to optimize performance and control costs. But speaking of optimizing, let's briefly touch on their long-term thinking in defense.
The sources mention David F. Gruber from Elcha.
Yeah, he's seen as a potential cost-effective long-term partner for Euro. Price tag is around £26 million. It fits that younger, high-potential recruitment strategy they seem to be following.
It shows they're planning well beyond this window, even with all the immediate chaos.
And underpinning all of this strategy is some surprisingly positive financial news. The club recorded a £13.3 million operating profit this quarter.
Which is a huge improvement.
It's more than just a number. It fundamentally impacts their transfer strategy. It gives them more leverage. It improves their FFP position, and it gives them more scope for those expensive long-term buys like Wharton next summer.
So before we wrap, let's just officially shut down one bit of transfer noise.
Yes. Confirmed by Fabrizio Romano, Manchester United are absolutely not exploring any move for veteran defender Sergio Ramos.
So we can tick that one off the list.
Despite all the Spanish reports, that one is firmly shut down.
Okay, so what does this all mean? As we close the source stack and head into what looks like a deeply challenging, but maybe transformative, January for Manchester United.
I think the core tensions are really clear for you, the listener. First, the Bruno situation means the captain's future is set for a huge summer showdown.
Right.
Second, the midfield needs that expensive, high-energy solution, whether it's the quick fix in Gallagher or the dream project of Wharton. And third, that race for Semenyo will likely define their early January spending.
The club is managing a tactical evolution, an injury crisis, and massive player turnover all at the same time. But maybe the most fundamental decision they're facing is about youth development.
I agree completely. And that brings us to our final provocative thought for you to consider. Given that very public warning from Rio Ferdinand about Semenyo, a warning focused entirely on the player's career, what's the right priority for a club like United?
Right.
Is it to prioritize immediate squad depth by blocking a loan, helping them get through the AFCON crunch? Or should they always protect the long-term development of a top asset, even if it weakens the team right now?
Present needs versus future potential.
That is the conflict. And that is the single decision that will probably shape their success for years to come.
Food for thought indeed. That's a deep dive. We'll catch you next time.